There are some who say that Jesus was murdered. Well, yes, in a way, there's truth in that, but he willfully gave himself as a living sacrifice. John 3:16-17, for God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. To state that he was simply murdered means that he was killed against his will, forced, and given resistance to the cross, and what he was anointed to do on earth. You see, the case was settled between him and Abba Father in the garden. Luke 22:42. Father, if it's your will, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. Well, no, as a matter of fact, this case was settled long before the Garden of Gethsemane when Jesus prayed that prayer. Ephesians 1:9, for he chose us in him before creation to be holy and blameless in his sight. In love he predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ, the accordance with his pleasure and will, to the praise of his glorious grace, which he has freely given us in the one he loves. The cross and Jesus being the only spotless, perfect sacrifice was agreed upon and made final in a conversation between the Father and the Son in the beginning of time. Jesus, with his broken body on the cross, had a joy in his heart until he gave his last breath, and even now. In Hebrews 12:1-2, it says the following, for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross. What is this joy that he's speaking of, and what did he have to endure when he was on the cross? In the dictionary, the word endure simply means to suffer something difficult, unpleasant, or painful. What did Jesus have to endure for us on his way to the cross, and even on the cross? Well, how about public humiliation, shame and mockery, insults and curses? He was stripped and given a purple robe, a crown of thorns pressed into his forehead. They spat on him and struck him in his face, ripped out his beard, and struck him on his head. Flogged him with a lead-tipped whip 39 times, and ultimately took the sin of the whole world upon himself. In 2 Corinthians 5:21, it's written, for he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God in him. What does the joy mean? Well, in the dictionary, that word joy means a great feeling of pleasure and happiness. It's almost crazy to think that Jesus, in his brokenness, almost unrecognizable, hanging on the cross, at the end of his life, at the point of giving his last breath, he had a feeling of great pleasure, happiness, and deep unconditional love in his heart. Almost a feeling of satisfaction that finally this is the time that the plan is coming into fulfillment that he and his Abba Father spoke about long before creation. Who is this joy? Well, this is quite simple. The joy is you and me. Jesus had great joy in being the ultimate sacrifice, making a way for us to the Father, making a way for transformation to take place, from lost to found, from servant to friend, from orphan to a son, to a child of God, from outside to inside the house, and finally to become the bride of Christ. In Revelation 19:7-8, John the beloved sees the following, let us be glad and rejoice and give him glory, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his wife has made herself ready. And to her it was granted to be arrayed in fine linen, clean and bright, for the fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints. You see, John the beloved saw what Jesus saw when he hanged on the cross. He experienced in his heart what Jesus experienced when he hung on the cross. The excitement, the joy of seeing a pure, spotless bride making herself ready for a marriage feast of the Lamb. That this act of unconditional love will once again and forever restore intimacy with him, with Abba Father, our Creator, the Creator of the universe. So Jesus counted it great joy to give his life for you so that you can be set free from sin, and once again, like in the Garden of Eden, walk with him hand in hand, with your ear against his chest, listening to his heartbeat. In this season, Jesus is inviting you into a place of drinking from him, feasting on him, loving on him, and getting married to him.